If you continue to show up as a version of yourself that you're not aligned with, you have to be okay living a life you're not aligned with. Good. Good. We're here. I'm Taryn. I'm really happy you're here. If you don't know me, that's okay. All you need to know is that I'm super multi-passionate and very relentless about creating a life that I really want to live. In that journey, I've been given a nudge to create this YouTube channel. Welcome. And apparently this video as my first. Most people, and I mean like 99.999999999% of people, will live with the feeling that they are not happy in their lives and do nothing about it because they feel comfortable where they are. And feeling comfortable doesn't necessarily have to mean that they feel comfortable physically. It's more of a mental thing. You might feel comfortable in a job despite the fact that you do not like that job and your boss is not nice because it creates a stable paycheck and it gives you health insurance and you've been in it for so long that that is your comfort zone. Whether the life that you are living is physically comfortable or not, mentally, it's very comfortable, and that's why you've been there for so long. But congratulations, if you are here. I have a good feeling that you are someone who is in that 0.0000001% that wants to change, that wants to live a different life, that wants to elevate, because life is too short to not at least try, right? Starting over in theory is typically a lot more fun than actually starting over and trying to take on a new identity and become a new version of yourself. And as someone who is a chronic list maker, chronic planner, and a Virgo, I spent a lot of my life making all these plans to change and be different and have different behaviors and habits and ideas, and a lot of my life also just staying the same. When I was about 20 years old, I decided that I wanted to stop being so negative, and that was the first time that I actually changed something fundamental about me. I thought I was a glass half empty person. I thought I was just a negative person by nature. And what I ended up finding out was that that was true, but because it was my beliefs about myself that made it so. When I changed my beliefs and changed the habits that accompanied them, I stopped being a negative person. The work to starting over is not fun. It can be. It's not easy. It can be, but it is the most rewarding work you'll ever do in your life. Ultimately, starting over starts with your decision, which I feel like if you are here, you've made it. You've at least placed the seed in your brain, and you're probably watching this thinking, all right, let's see what that actually looks like. Let's see what I have to do. I personally have started over many times in my life. In fact, I'm in the mix of a starting over right at this very moment. Each time that I've done it, it's looked a little bit different. So the odds are is that it's going to look a little different for you as well. But let's talk about the foundational pieces and what that looks like. First things first, get comfy with fear. Starting over doesn't have to be scary. Okay, it's not like you're being chased by a tiger and the world is ending, but sometimes it feels like that. You're going to be asked to change fundamental things about yourself, beliefs that you hold, that the career you're in is your identity, that the financial situation that you've been in your whole life is the only one that exists for you. You're going to be asked to try out new hobbies or go places you've never been before, go to a job interview. That's scary. Get used to the feeling of fear. Eventually, it's going to be comfortable again. Eventually, you're going to find your place. But in the transition period, fear will be there. It will linger. You have survived every single thing that you have been faced with up until this point. This isn't going to be the thing that takes you down. And if it does take you down a couple of pegs, you're going to be able to figure it out because you figured everything else out. The first time I did a really big overhaul, start over of my life, I split my world up into 5 main categories that I was unhappy with. And I would highly suggest you doing the same. Take a really good overview of your life in a panoramic style. Zoom out. You're not the main character here. You are an observer of the main character. What are they facing? What are you unhappy with? And what do you want to change? So the first time I ever did it, my categories were fitness, health, career, mindset, and enjoyment. You might also want to look at finances, hobbies, relationships. Find the main categories of your life that you're unhappy with and that you need a reset with. If it's just career, okay. If you're happy with everything else in your life, perfect. And I love that for you. If you're finding you have 7 categories, 10 categories where you're like, well, seems like I need a full life overhaul, that's also okay. The baseline here is that you do need to be honest with yourself. Don't let fear make these decisions for you. If you only like your job because it creates financial stability, but you're miserable in your day-to-day when you're there, we need to overhaul the career. If you only like your friend group because you've been in the same friend group for the past 10 years, but they actually treat you like garbage and you don't like hanging out with them and they drain your social battery every time you go out, you need new friends. And none of this is bad, mind you. But like I said, you have to get used to the feeling of fear. New things are scary. And that's fine. The best thing you can do, feel the fear and do it anyway. Let fear come with. Let them sit passenger. That's fine, but they're not going to drive your car, okay? Okay, once you have your categories, you're gonna go into each category individually. You're gonna take some time with each area of your life, and I need you to figure out 3 main things. The first thing is, what does the vision board version of this category of your life look like to you? In an ideal world, nothing standing in your way, you could have anything you want the second you snap your fingers. What's that look like? The second thing you're going to figure out for each category, what is an immediate goal that you could set where basically you could switch 1 or 2 things and have that achieved? And the third thing you're going to look at is a long-term goal. This can be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, whatever feels good, whatever you can conceptualize for yourself. I personally can't conceptualize long-term things, especially with the way I live my life and how often I'm changing up my goals and what I want to achieve. So I typically look 6 months to a year out. If 10 years feels good for you, look 10 years into the future and figure out your long-term goals. Whatever feels good to you. That's really the key to this whole thing. You want to take what I'm saying, this foundational format, and adjust it so that it makes sense for you in your life. So let me really quickly run through an example of this for you so you can see me do it and then you could do it. Let's keep it nice and simple. When I first did this for the first time ever in 2025, I was setting New Year's resolutions, and so this was what that looked like for me. The category I'm going to share with you today is fitness. My dream life Pinterest vision board version of this looked like feeling confident and comfortable in my body, looking and being strong and physically capable. My immediate goal in January of 2025 was to start strength training multiple times a week and stretching every single day. And my long-term goal was to find a routine that feels good, but also that I could be consistent in without having to think too much about it. And that's what you're doing for every single category. You are laying the foundational work for what it is that you want. I never like to be very specific. It's just not how my brain works. I can't go into detail about most things, but what I can provide is a vibe. And so my explanations are much shorter and they're based on a feeling that I want to feel. You might understand details that you want. If you were doing the same thing, you might know that you have a PR you want to hit. You might know what that number is, and you might know what gym you want to join, and you might know what classes you want to try. Not I. I know how I want to feel in my body, and that's what I pay attention to. So you just pay attention to whatever feels right. And sometimes specificities come with time. Let that happen too. So now you have the foundational work. You've done all your categories. You've looked. You understand what it is that you want. Now, we need to kind of reverse engineer it. Most of these are pretty easy. What do you need to do? Okay, if we're staying on the fitness category, I needed to get my ass in the gym. That's what I needed to do. Luckily for me, I have a home gym. I have a home gym because my boyfriend works out. And so I was able to walk my butt downstairs and start working out. You might need to go get a gym membership. Or you might need to go on Facebook Marketplace and you might need to look up gym equipment that you can create a home gym with, whatever the vibe is for you. This step is pretty easy. Most people can plan. Most people know, oh, if I want to be fit, I need to go get a gym membership and I need to sign up for 3 workout classes a week. Most people know that, and it's really fun to be able to put it into a planner. It's the actual doing where it becomes a problem, where it gets harder, where starting over feels like, holy shit, this is an uphill battle. So let's tackle that. This is the part of starting over where you have to look at you. Take a look in the mirror. We are talking about your identity. I told you a story about how I changed my personality from being glass half empty to glass half full. Now we have to do that for every single category of your life. AKA, who do we need to become for these things to happen. For me to achieve these goals, who do I need to become? And this doesn't start by scheduling the workout classes. This starts by internalizing the thoughts that I am someone who prioritizes my health. The easiest way that I have found to do this is to act like I am creating a character who is not me. She's not me, but I have goals to become her. Now you get to choose. Are you going to create one single character that is the overarching everything that you've just written down and created, all of the categories and goals encompassed in one, or are you going to create individual people for each category? Stick with me here. Who is she? Who is she? For example, a hill that I have had to get over on the who is she train is, if I want to be a content creator, I have to create content and stop consuming it as much. The girl who is the content creator is not spending 2 hours a day consuming content. She's spending 2 hours a day creating content. The girl that prioritizes her fitness and her health is meal prepping, investing in workout sets instead of DoorDash. She is making time in her schedule, even though she had a 10-hour workday, to get to the gym. This part's hard. It's not easy to change your identity. It really isn't. And the fact, it's so much easier for me to tell you, oh, we're gonna change our identities now. The actual work is difficult, but it's some of the most rewarding work that you will ever do in your life. Everything that we're doing here is so incredibly rewarding, and you deserve to be rewarded with your success that you created. Creating new results comes from taking different action, and taking different actions come from having a different mindset and building different habits and being a disciplined person who cares more about the goal than comfort. So who is she? What does she do? How does she think? How does she dress? Who does she hang out with? Who does she talk to? How does she show up for herself and for her friends and for her family? What are the habits that she has? You have to figure all this out. Mind you, all of this does not have to be in this very moment. You're sitting down with a pen and paper, figuring out what all this stuff. It can be a slow process. Figure out who she is by becoming her and watching how your life starts to change. You are extremely worthy of living a life that you desire. And you are worthy of the commitment, the discipline, and the action that it takes for you to get there. Whether it takes you 6 months, 6 years, or 60 years, you deserve it. And you have to understand that. You can start over as many times as you want. You can rinse and repeat this process every time you're feeling stale, stagnant, stuck in your life. I'm really happy you're here, and I will see you in my next video.